Hello, physical scientists. Ms. Getz here. So today we're going to learn about something called an energy story. So far in class in this unit, we've been talking about lots of different words that tell us some object has energy. There are lots and lots of different pieces of evidence that we can see and feel and hear in our everyday life that tells us an object has energy. So today, we're going to be learning about how we can take these different pieces of evidence of energy to tell something called an energy story for different situations. And an energy story explains what happens in a situation and all the different ways that we see energy in that situation. So first off, we're going to look at a problem about a baseball. And this is actually a baseball problem you should not try at home. So imagine that you're holding a baseball and you throw it into the window. What's going to happen to the window? Well, obviously it's going to break, and that's not good, which is, again, why you don't want to try this at home. But the idea of the energy story is that we're going to describe what happened to the baseball and use those pieces of evidence energy that I have. So first off, I'm holding the baseball in my hands and I move my hand. So that means that my hand is having some motion energy, and that means the baseball is getting some motion energy from my hand too. And so then once I've let go, well, I shouldn't actually throw it into the window, should I? That'd be bad. My baseball has some motion energy and it just flies on through the air, and eventually it crashes into the window, which causes the window to break. That means that the window also has some motion energy now, and you can hear the window breaking. So I've written this as an energy story. So the ball starts in your hand, which moves with motion energy. So I'm talking about what happens at the beginning. Then I talk about what happens next. So after you let go of the ball, it has motion energy as it travels across the room. Then the ball hits the glass in the window and the glass breaks, which has motion energy, and you hear the glass breaking and falling, which is sound energy. And so in class today, what I would like you to do is actually open up worksheet 8.2. It's attached to the same page as this video is on, and it looks pretty much like this. It doesn't have this box down here, but it looks pretty much like this does. And we're going to be completing the energy story part in this video. So you want to download this document. It's attached to the same page into Notability, and keep watching this video, which you're already watching, go you, and fill in the energy stories along with me in this video. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and pause this video and go fill in your energy words here for this energy story about breaking a baseball. Taking a baseball and breaking a window with it, throwing a baseball into a window. So I'm going to fill in my words right now, but you try taking a moment, try to figure this out without me. So hopefully you read this energy story again about the baseball breaking the glass in the window and filled in your energy words. So again, we have this big list of energy words. So I went through, I used the word moving energy. If you used motion energy, that's totally fine. That's the same thing as moving. And so I filled in my energy story here for this baseball breaking the glass in a window. So let's move on to the next one, where we're going to look at a flashlight. So first off, before we even look at our worksheet, let's take a moment and think about, well, what does a flashlight do? Well, flashlights can look lots of different ways. Here's a flashlight. You might notice that there's this little button on it, and you need to use the button to turn the flashlight on. So that's one thing. And then inside the flashlight, think about, do you know what makes a flashlight work? Like, what does it need to have inside it to work? Well, I have this little cutaway picture here that I think is pretty cool, that allows you to see that a flashlight, and this is pretty much any type of flashlight, even if it's an LED flashlight or an incandescent flashlight, doesn't matter what type, it needs some sort of batteries inside it. And then you notice there's a little springy thing touching the battery. That's actually acting like a wire that goes all the way up. It's connected to this little switch. That's where you push to turn it on or slide to turn it on. and then it connects to the light bulb. That actually is the light that we see in the flashlight. So for our energy story here, we probably want to talk about these different things we have to do. We have to push the button to turn it on, and then there have to be some batteries involved here, and those batteries make some energy go through this wire, which then powers up the light bulb. So on our worksheet, we have a couple more blanks than we had before. So here, I'm going to help you make this energy story right now, and I'll actually fill it in with you. So if you want to split screen, you can do that, or you can flip back and forth from the video to your worksheet. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same as mine. It's just got to be kind of similar. So first, you have to turn on the flashlight by, what do? Well, you push on the, oh, my box is not long enough. Push on the, I don't know, should we call it button with your, that's where I'm going to need another box. If you have Notability, I would highly recommend just writing this with your finger, using the writing tool instead of typing it. Because typing when you're filling in blanks is super annoying. But I tried to make them big enough that you could easily handwrite it. So push on the button with your finger, which has, what type of energy would that be? So if your finger is pushing on the button, we're turning on the flashlight, it's not hot, we're moving our finger, which has moving or motion energy. So push on the button with your finger, which has motion energy. Okay, so that's the first step when we're using the flashlight. Then, and if you don't fill in all the way, that's totally fine. I didn't quite fill in all the way. I bet if I were writing on Notability, I would have taken up this whole space. Then the batteries inside the flashlight use their stored up some type of energy. Well, what type of energy would batteries have? So batteries aren't hot, not moving, they don't have light yet. We will have light eventually. They don't have sound or noise. You might think wires are electricity or power, and they do have some power, but batteries actually are kind of evidence of energy themselves. So we actually have them here on our words for energy list, because that was something that lots of people said were evidence that something had energy. So then the batteries inside the flashlight use their stored up battery energy. I'm going to go for it and say that the batteries are evidence of energy to put power through the wires of the flashlight. So that's a separate type of energy. So the battery energy is the thing that's causing there to be power through those wires inside the flashlight in this little cutout picture here. The power then makes the light bulb light up, which is, what type of energy would that be? It's not battery energy. If I quick go through it, so lighting up, well, that's going to be light energy because we can see that there's light there. So which is light energy, and eventually feels kind of hot, so has not light energy, but heat energy or hot energy or fire energy. It's not on fire, but it feels hot like fire does. So I'm going to call it hot energy. Sweet. So this is my energy story for my flashlight. You don't have to worry about the energy flow diagram right now. We're going to do that in the next video. Don't worry. Awesome. So that's for our flashlight. We know that first you have to turn on the flashlight by how about pushing to make it grammatically correct? Pushing on the button with your finger, which has motion energy. Then the batteries inside the flashlight use their stored up battery energy to put power through the wires of the flashlight. The power then makes the light bulb light up, which is light energy, and eventually feels kind of hot, so has heat or hot energy. You could also say heat energy, that would be okay too. I know it's not on our list, but it's cool. Awesome. So then we have a couple of other stories. The next one is about a rubber band. So if you take a rubber band and stretch it out, you can actually fling it across the room. And so that's what this energy story is for. So I'm going to help you a little bit get started here, but then I'm going to let you finish this energy story yourself. So first, so we have the rubber band, we're flinging it across the room, and the energy story has started for us. So it says first you have to pick up the rubber band and what do you have to do with the rubber band? Well, I have to use my hand to stretch it out or pull it backwards. So I'm gonna steal this little text box. So first you have to pick up the rubber band and pull it, and it looks kind of in the picture like this person is pulling it sort of back towards them. Pull it backwards. To stretch it. So we're pulling it backwards to stretch it. That's what we have to do with the rubber band. This means your hand is using what type of energy? Well, my hand had to move. So I'm going to call that motion energy or moving energy. The rubber band gets stretched out, so it has, well, I'm going to look at my list. It's not hot. It is moving a little bit. But I have that already with my hand moving. Sound or noise, no. Wires, no. Batteries, no. Chemicals, fuel, no. Food, no. Rubber bands are not food, don't eat them. Stretching, hey, stretching is actually its own type of energy, kind of related to spring energy. When something has a spring, it can store up energy in it. So I'm going to actually call it stretching energy. Sweet. And so then I'd like you to finish the rest of the energy story. So when you let go of the rubber band, what does it do? What does the rubber band do? And then this means that the rubber band has blank energy and blank energy. So it has two types of energy. One of them, I'll give you a hint, is something that you can hear. So you want to pause the video and finish this energy story before we move on to problem number 4. So problem number 4 is looking at a gas stove. And a gas stove is a stove that has flames coming out of it. And so it's burning some type of gas. It's not gasoline, it's actually probably methane that it's burning. There's some other different types of gas that it could be burning, but it's burning this stuff to make fire. So if you don't have a stove at home that's a gas stove, this is what it looks like, and it's got fire coming out of it. So our energy story, I'm actually going to have you complete most of, in fact, all of. Our situation is a gas stove heating up a pot of water. So here's our pot of water sitting on top of this gas stove with those blue flames. It says a gas stove makes fire by burning some type of gas which has blank energy. And there's a couple of different answers different words that you could use here from our list of words for energy. You might notice that one of the words for energy is actually gas. So if you wanted to call it gas energy, you could. There should be a comma between wood and chemicals, my bad. You could call it chemicals energy, you could call it fuel energy. It's not actually wood energy, but it's kind of related to wood energy. So whichever one of those you would like to use is cool. And as it's burning, there are bluish flames, which have, again, there's some different types of energy here, up to 3 different types of energy that you can describe. If you only have 2, that's okay, but you want to make sure you have at least 2 different types of energy from those bluish flames. Then the heat of the fire then goes to the pot. What type of energy is that going to the pot? You want to describe that here. And then since the water is inside the pot, what type of energy is the water getting from the pot? And so again, I'd like you to pause and complete problem number 4 right now. And then problem number 5 is looking at someone playing a guitar. And I'm going to let you fill out this entire energy story yourself. Feel free to email your teacher if you have any questions. And up next, we're going to learn how to represent these energy stories in a new way.